Hello viewers, here in front of you H.M.Kalita, Senior Faculty Member of H.M.Kalita Residential IS Coaching Academy, Guwahati. Our today's topic, again from Assam history, we'll discuss about growth of national consciousness, and socio-political organizations in Assam during later part of 19th century and early part of 20th century. Topic is growth of national consciousness and socio-political organizations in Assam. The conditions of the peasants worsened during the early part of British rule under the burdens of taxation and mismanagement. In absence of local business community, the British brought bankers and traders from other provinces of India, particularly from Bengal. Tea gardens were opened and transport and communication developed to promote administrative efficiency, but the exploitation of locals, exploitation of local resources was always there. Meanwhile, Bengali bureaucrats and clerks, those babus and karans, Bengali bureaucrats and clerks, lawyers, doctors, who were trained in British administration were brought to Assam from Bengal. As you know, those Bengali bureaucrats, clerks, lawyers, doctors were trained in British administration and brought to Assam. As a result, the members of the traditional local aristocracy were reduced to insignificance. Bengalis were given extra benefit, and their language, that is Bengali language, was made official language in 1837, and it remained till 1873. Some Bengali settlers took the trade and commerce and came into conflict with the indigenous traders. By the settlement rule of 1870, the government introduced Mojadari system. Mojadari system introduced in 1870 through the settlement rules and recognized the permanent, heritable and transferable rights in rupit, that is wet paddy, and bari, that is homestead lands in private occupation. Once the Mojadari system started, the recognition of permanent, heritable and transferable rights in rupit and bari lands were given to the private occupation. The appointment of Mojadars for collecting revenue created a stable and what I can say, loyal gentry in the countryside, being normally chosen from the influential and well-to-do families in the Mojas and circle. By 1873, decennial settlement of wet paddy and homestead land gradually came into practice. That means your settlement of wet paddy, settlement of repeat, and homestead, that is bari land, given for a settlement of 10 years. And those land for dry crop land were given for settlement of annually. Land for dry crop to be settled annually, whereas wet paddy and homestead land were given for a settlement of 10 years. With the good news that during the period 1873 to 1893, land revenue remained unchanged. Assamese tea planters as landholders were always like peasants. They opposed to the enhancement of land revenue because unlike European tea planters who paid practically no land revenue, the indigenous planters had to do at much higher rate, and whereas the European tea planters were given at concessional rate wasteland, mainly in the Gabaru hills. During the mid-19th century, that English school and printing presses started under the auspices, under the support of government or the missionaries, and that served to disseminate, that is to popularize the Western education. For the popularization of Western education, schools and printing presses were opened by government or missionaries. Orunodoi, the first Assamese monthly magazine published by Baptist missionary in 1846 from printing press of Baptist missionary, which was established in 1844. Orunodoi was the first Assamese monthly that is devoted to religion, science and general intelligence, and it was published in 1846 from the Sipsagar, and Orunodoi inspiring the local younger generation to express their views and opinions. Gradually, a small number of educated young men from amongst the land-owning upper caste families, mostly of lawyers, government servant holders, came to occupy leading positions in Assam society. At this time, government followed a policy of recruiting unemployed educated Bengali to staff in Assam offices at a minimum cost, and they were brought from Bengal and thus helping in solving the unemployment problem in Bengal. So, British started importing those Bengali educated to work as a staff in Assam offices. The government was therefore not prepared to establish higher educational institution in Assam, as they are getting their staff from the Bengal itself. As such, as there was no higher educational institution in Assam, the sons of the well-to-do families were sent to Calcutta for higher education at government scholarship. And those mostly educated persons did not face any problem of unemployment. Those well-to-do, those business, those traders, and those government servants' siblings got the opportunity to study at Calcutta under government scholarship, so they didn't get any problem in unemployment. The grounds were prepared for the growth of indigenous middle class. Thus, whether a planter or a timber merchant, the upper stratum of this class started their career in close cooperation with the British and remained they always loyal to the British government. Though those loyal middle class traders, government servants, loyal to the British, but they raised the cause of the peasants to fight for reduction in land revenue. Unlike Maniram Dewan, his predecessors did not fight for freedom but cherished great faith in benevolence of the British Raj. The recognition of Assamese as language of court and schools in 1873. Bengali brought to Assam in 1837. It was there till 1873 after a lot of persuasion by those intelligent intellectuals, intelligentsia. Assam means again made its way to become the languages of court and school in 1873, and this gave a lot of confidence and that helped those Assamese intellectuals to grow. The literary and political organization now began to express their opinion. Alongside of their activities, those intelligent middle class, those timber merchant, those lawyer organized public opinion to put pressure on the government for measures to provide educational opportunity for the Assamese youth within the state itself. Meanwhile, on 4th February 1874, Assam, together with Hill district, have made Chief Commissioner's province. Assam was made Chief Commissioner's province in 4th February 1874 with its capital at Shillong, as it was a long overdue, because to control the Assam from Bengal was definitely very inconvenient for those staying at Bengal. So Assam was made Chief Commissioner's province in 4th February 1874 with its capital at Shillong, but the populous Bengali speaking district of Sylhet was also incorporated with Chief Commissioner province of Assam in 1874. The Sylhet also became part of Chief Commissioner's province of Assam. There slowly developed a situation of disharmony between Bengali bureaucrats, clerks and petty traders with the indigenous gentry and traditional trading community of Assamese. However, this disharmony was mainly confined to the middle class of these two communities. The Assamese middle class, who took some initiative in new economic enterprises, grew alert to preserve, promote, protect for the development of Assamese language and culture. Those protect, preserve and promotion of Assamese language started long back. That means when Assam was made Chief Commissioner's province, that is 1874. It was 150 years back. The promotion, protection and preservation of Assamese language started from those 150 years back. At the same time, hardcore agents of the British government, actually those hardcore agents of the British government pursued their policy of divide and rule and utilize the disharmony between these two communities to generate Assamese national chauvinism in the form of anti-Bengali feelings. Those anti-Bengali feelings came in those 1874 itself, and that was started by British divide and rule policy. With the spread of English education, the Assamese, like their compatriots in other parts of India, came in contact with the nationalist and liberal ideas of West. It is the youth receiving higher education in English and engaging themselves in different professions who were destined to assume a new role in the educational field and disseminate the new idea of among the contemporaries. Those Assamese youth, after getting education in the English medium, in the higher education, they developed the national consciousness among themselves. We will discuss those intellectuals one after the another. Among them were Anandaram Burwa, the fifth Indian and the first Assamese to be a member of Indian Civil Service. Anandaram Burwa was the first ICS among the Assamese and the fifth among the Indians to become the ICS officer. That is, Anandaram Burwa became the fifth Indian and first Assamese member of Indian Civil Services. Boli Narayan Bora was the first Assamese engineer educated at England. Jalnur Ali and Sibram Bora, who joined the Indian Medical Services, were the first LMP doctors, medical professionals. Jalnur Ali and Sibram Bora were the first qualified medical professional in Assam. First college was founded at Sylhet in 1892. Next college, one at Guwahati in 1901, named Sir Henry Cotton, the Chief Commissioner of Assam. So Cotton College established in Guwahati 1901 and name was given Cotton College, the name of Henry Cotton, the Chief Commissioner of the province of Assam. Manik Chandra Borua, a timber and tea merchant, but later on his contribution in the Assam's participation in the Indian national movement was immense. He became the General Secretary of Assam Association till his death. Bholanath Borua, who started business under Manik Chandra Borua, rose to be a millionaire timber merchant stationed at Odisha, but his headquarters was at Calcutta. So, Bholanath Borua was the first millionaire timber merchant of Odisha with headquarters at Calcutta. Dinanath Besborua established 2 small tea gardens in Assam. Lakshminath Besborua, son of Dinanath Besborua, graduated from Calcutta and related by marriage to famous Tegur family, took to timber business. But together with his timber business, he continued to start his literary creation. Adoniram Dhekial Phukon, he had 2 sons, one settled abroad and the other started business along with Manik Chandra Borua. Hemdar Borua and his son Jagannath Borua, a graduate from Presidency College, started their own tea gardens in Assam, mainly in Jorhat area. Hori Bilas Agarwala, son of Marwari trader settler, started their tea garden in Assam. Even Anandaram Borua, first ICS of Assam, contemplated to open tea garden after his retirement from ICS. Gunaviram Borua, a pioneer of the new learning and social reformer, also had accumulated small capital to start business of his own. Manik Chandra Borua, Hemchandra Borua, Radhanath Sankakoti invested a part of money in printing press and newspaper. So those are the intelligent, those are the qualified personnel. They are qualified in their respective fields, but they started different business in Assam, in tea garden, in timber merchant, in newspaper, in printing press. Now we'll talk about local political association. A majority of Assamese businessmen who were closely associated with the literary and political activities of the day were as integrally connected with the rural peasants community at large. Those intellectuals, those businessmen, they actively connected with the rural peasants community at large. They took up the cause of riots as well as formed organizations which were demanding government for measures of reduction of taxes and for various reforms for the peasants. Thus, Jagannath Borua took the initiative of forming Jorhat Harbojani Sabha. Jagannath Borua took the initiative to found the Jorhat Harbojani Sabha in 1875. Though it was formed in 1875, its activity started in 1884 and it became a real entity. During 1892-1893, the Sabha led a series of meetings to protest against enhancement of land revenue. And the Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha submitted a memorandum to Chief Commissioner of Assam in 14 December 1892 expressing its dissatisfaction with meager number of appointments given to the natives of the soil and pleaded for giving due consideration to the son of the soils to the local for the appointment of in the Department of Forest, Police, Post and Telegraph, which are normally monopoly of Bengali families. So those agitation against recruitment of son of soil started by Jorhat Sarvajanik Sabha in 1894 itself. In 1884 was established the Tezpur Rayat Sabha. Tezpur Rayat Sabha was established in 1884 at the initiative of Horibilas Agarwala, his sawmill manager Lakshmikanto Borkakoti and Lambudor Burua, a lawyer of Tezpur. So Tezpur Rayat Sabha was founded by Horibilas Agarwala along with his sawmill manager Lakshmikanto Borkakoti and Lambudor Burua, a lawyer. Though Tezpur Rayat Sabha was formed to protest against the enhancement of land revenue, they took some social activity and they have started the construction of Tezpur Town Hall in 1887 with their accumulated fund. The Tezpur Town Hall was constructed in 1887 by Horibilas Agarwala, Lakshmikanto Borkakoti and Lambudor Bora. By 1886, Shillong Association, Nagaon Rayat Sabha, Upper Assam Association came into force. However, these all organizations are local in nature. Then we are going to talk about Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was formed 1885 at Sanskrit College, Bombay, and the first president was W.C. Banerjee. This was about Indian National Congress. We will talk about Assam's involvement in Indian National Congress. Even before Assam Association was formed, delegates from Tezpur and Sylhet attended the first meeting of the Indian National, which preceded the Indian National Congress. That means before members from Assam Association attended the INC, delegates from Tezpur and Sylhet attended the first meeting. Second session held at Calcutta in 1886, which was for the first time attended by 8 duly elected delegates from various associations of Assam. Devishan Burua, Gopinath Bordloi represented Upper Assam Association, Kalikanto Borkakoti, the Shillong Association, Hoytonath Bora from Nagaon Rayat Sabha, Bipin Chandra Pal, the Sylhet Association, and Joy Chandra Som and Kamini Kumar Sando represented Habiganj People's Association. Those 8 delegates, those 8 elected delegates represented Assam in the second Indian National Congress session at Calcutta. In the third session, in 1887 held at Madras, Assam was represented by Radhanath Sankakoti from Upper Assam Association, Lakshmikanta Borkakoti from Assam Conference, and Bipin Chandra Pal as the editor of Tribune. All India political organization that was to decide the course of India's national movement. On the grounds of prepared, the Assam Association was formed by a group of intellectuals led by Manik Chandra Burwa. I have already told you, Assam Association was formed under the leadership of Manik Chandra Burwa in 1882 at Sipsagar. With the formation of the new and somewhat broad-based Assam Association, that the growing national consciousness in the province gained momentum. The first session of the Assam Association was held at Dibrugarh in 1905. Manik Chandra Burwa as General Secretary, who retained the post till his death, that is up to 1915. Manik Chandra Burwa became the first General Secretary and he retained the post till his death, that is up to 1915. So he retained the post of General Secretary from 1905 to 1915, and he was succeeded later on after 1915 by Ghanshyam Burwa. Raja Prabhat Chandra Burwa of Gauripur became the president of first Assam Association and Jagannath Burwa its vice president. Assam Association stood for constitutional agitation of the people of Assam. Since most of the leading members like Manik Chandra Burwa, Ghanshyam Burwa, Phanidhar Soliha, Tonuram Phukon, Navin Chandra Bordloi were also legislators at that time, they were in position to draw the attention of the government. They are member of legislature as also member of Assam Association, and that is why they can draw the attention of the government. Assam Association represented mainly the interests of the rising middle class. It is at this time that the leaders of Assam also reacted differently to the British rule, and most of the members of Assam Association pledging themselves to the non-cooperation movement and made the Assam Association a virtual forum of INC. That means Assam Association has become virtually the platform of Assam Society, Assam Center of Indian National Congress. The Assam Association became defunct with the formation of Assam Provincial Congress in 1921. Assam Provincial Congress was formed 1921. It became so after the merger of members of Assam Association. This is all about the political organization of Assam. Now we are talking about the literary associations of Assam. The spirit of national consciousness found its expression in the contemporary literary association and the newspaper and the periodicals. First of such association was formed in 1872 by a group of students studying at Calcutta under the leadership of Ganga Govinda Fukan. Assamia Sahitya Sabha was formed in 1872 by a group of students studying at Calcutta under the leadership of Ganga Govinda Fukan. This is অসমীয়া সাহিত্য সভা. Okay, Assam Sahitya Sabha, later on in hopefully 1916 it was formed, but Assamiya Sahitya Sabha formed in 1872. In 1857, Anandaram and Ghanasya Gunaviram organized the Gyan Pradakshini Samaj at Nagaon. In 1885 was formed the Assam Desh Hitakhini Sabha. Assam Desh Hitakhini Sabha formed in 1885 at Sibsagar by Priyalal Burwa, a deputy inspector of school. In 1885, the Assamese youth studying at Calcutta formed a new society called Assamiya Bhashar Unnati Sadhini Sabha. Assamiya Sahitya Sabha formed by the students at Calcutta in 1872. Again, 1885, students studying at Calcutta. 1888, the students studying at Calcutta formed the Assamiya Bhashar Unnati Sadhini Sabha. Prominent among them were Lakshmi Nath Besbura, Chandra Kumar Agarwala, Padmanath Gohai Burwa, Lokheshwar Sharma, Hemchandra Goswami, Kamalakanta Bhattacharya. The Sabha soon set up its branch in several parts of Assam, including at Kohima, because Kohima then within the province of Assam. That Sabha took up the publication of monthly journal called Junaki, the first issue of which was released in February 1889. Junaki brought in new era in Assamese literature and played a very important role in popularizing the ideology of new middle class in Assam. That means Junaki Yug, the era of Junaki started after the publication of Junaki, the magazine. Over dozens of newspapers and periodicals in Assam which directly or indirectly contributed to raising national consciousness of the people. Some of the important newspapers and periodicals published from Assam were Assam Bilakhini 1871, Assam Mihir 1872, Assam Bandhu 1888, Bijuli 1891, the Assam 1894, the Times of Assam in English 1895. Then we are coming the last Students Association. Assam Chhatra Sanmilan, a new organization of students on a nationalistic foundation was formed. Assam Chhatra Sanmilan, first session of the Sanmilan was held at Guwahati in 1916 under the presidency of Lakshmi Nath Besbura. It was, that means Assam Chhatra Sanmilan was not a political body, yet inspiring by the spirit of the national patriotism. Though Assam Chhatra Sanmilan was not a political body, yet inspired by the spirit of national patriotism, it helped most of the student leaders of Assam who later became the prominent leaders during the India's struggle for independence, were members of Assam Satra Honmilan. So this all about growth of national consciousness and all about those socio-political organization those established during later part of 19th century and early part of 20th century. Hope you enjoy the discussion. Thank you.